Hello everyone, welcome back to the NightLight on the Chapters Community Network at WGBB. I'm your host, Mary Ellen Sherlock. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. For those who are new to the show, the NightLight is a heartfelt tribute to the exceptional individuals who mentor, inspire, and advocate for children. Their light shines in the spirit of love, kindness, and understanding for future generations. Well, tonight my guests are diving into a subject incredibly close to my heart. I'm thrilled to announce and introduce Laura Mancuso and Jenna Guidi, the dynamic illustrator and author duo behind the Fin-tastic children's book series. Their enchanting mermaid friends guide children on adventures that teach them about our oceans and the invaluable ecosystems we cherish around us. Jenna and Laura, thank you so much for being here on the NightLight.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Just so you guys know, Laura and Jenna, we know each other from Long Island Authors, so let's give a little shout out to our peeps there.
Hello, Long Island Authors.
And I don't know if I never tell this to anybody. It's like Mary Ellen's best kept secret. I went to school for marine biology, so when I said this was a topic that's near and dear to my heart, it is. And for those of us, we are on Long Island's oldest radio station, WGBB. So people on Long Island, we cherish our beaches. We have some of the most beautiful beaches in all of the world. And so I'm going to start by asking first you, Laura, what was the impetus that made you think about writing a children's book about the environment, about the oceans, and using these adorable little mermaids as your character?
Well, I guess I would start with the fact that my two daughters absolutely loved mermaids when they were little. When you asked them, what are you going to be when you grow up? I'm going to be a mermaid. So they always used to wish to become a mermaid in front of a wishing fountain. So at the time, I was home with them a lot and we were reading a lot of books, and it was hard to find picture books that had mermaids in it that wasn't just a counting book or the Little Mermaid itself. So I began to think there was a market for it, and I figured I could make the girls' dreams come true and they could become a mermaid, at least in my stories. So from a very young age, the kids were always really aware of pollution and how harmful it was to marine life. We all live on an island and we're surrounded by water, and we spend so much time at the beach that I just kind of married the two concepts together, and just imagine these mermaids being upset that they were finding trash in their own living rooms and their, in their own houses, and they were swimming it out of the water and onto the land, and that's where the story came.
So Jenna, when Laura approached you about this, you're like, this is so cool, I'm totally into this. Like, is that how you took to the story?
Absolutely, because I also care so much about the environment and would like to bring more awareness to everything that we need. So when she came up to me that, I've also always been a big lover of fairy tales and everything. So I was like, it's kind of like a dream project in a way.
Just curious, I know I'm kind of asking Laura, did Laura describe each one of the mermaids in there? Or like, I just kind of had them on my brain and I made them look exactly how I thought? Or did you have some kind of prototype that you were going off of?
Yes.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
because they're based off of her daughters, one of their best friends. So I was looking at pictures
you
of
really
them.
were immortalizing your daughters. Like, you will be a mermaid. Whether you're a legacy now. They are legacy.
Exactly.
That's awesome. So guys, tell me a little bit about, you literally just put out the third book of the Fin-tastic series. And each one had a theme, and the first one I think you did was about the cleanup, the Fin-tastic group with the cleanup. Tell us a little bit about, you won awards for that. Every single book you have has an award. These are award-winning books, guys. You're looking for Christmas presents, we're giving you it right now.
Yes, Santa approved. Yes, actually, all three books have won awards individually and as a series. We recently just won one for the entire series. So we're very excited that they're being honored not only individually but as a series in itself, that they are stories that the characters move along in each book, and yeah, we're very excited about it.
So how do you feel that the people, like some of the kids, when you go to schools and you do visits and things like that, even at the libraries, are the kids looking and asking, I really want this book are the parents completely resonating with the theme of like, this is such a great way to teach the children about the environment?
I think so. I know a lot of the kids have been very interested in, even when we do like the questions, they have a lot of good ideas and.
Absolutely. I think both, when you're going to, it depends on your situation where we are. We're going to fairs, we're at, school events, we're everywhere. But parents will come up, oh, you love mermaids. And then they start going through them.
And they see that it has a deeper meaning than just a story about mermaids.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, and you tell them, you got to sell your books, when they come up
Yes.
to you. This is our book about mermaids to help clean up the ocean and save sea animals. Oh, I love sea animals.
Yeah. So you know what? Just to our nightlighters, I want to give a little context to this. So there are three major issues that are currently, all over the world. But number one, we know, is global warming, and I know that there's people all over that are trying to address that. But number two was the plastics and the cleaning up of plastics. And there's, I think, over 1,000 organizations that partner with the UN. So that they really are trying to eliminate plastics, but also clean up the existing plastics.
And the microplastics.
And the microplastics, yeah. Do you get do you find that, people are resonating that, like, thank gosh you guys are doing this. I know you coordinate beach cleanups and you get involved in that and you try to, really talk the talk and walk the walk.
Absolutely. It's kind of fun. A few events that we have done with actually schools. I've gone, my girlfriend's on a preschool, the Little Village, and it takes a village, little plug. And they actually put together a cleanup with the school. I read the story to them, and then all of the children were just galvanized at that point and just all ran to the beach and grabbed their bag and was cleaning up as often as you can. So I really think that it's great, because you do see that we are reaching people and that they are responding and learning along with the grown-ups that share the stories with them.
Yes, let's try to leave the planet a little bit better than,
we found it.
Yeah.
Jenna, I have a question. Is it somewhat discouraging when you do go on the beach, or when you are walking around and you're, by a stream, you're like, ugh. Obviously there's the, the people, you're supposed to, take it with you when you go, kind of thing. It's still discouraging. Are you even more aware of it now after doing the books? Yeah.
Definitely, I'm much more aware. I don't go to the beach too often, but I, sometimes I'll walk with my dogs, at different parks and stuff, and you see trash everywhere, and it's really discouraging. It's sometimes I'll pick some stuff up, but then at the same time it's what am I touching?
Yeah.
And it's that back and forth, but try to do something. It's like you said, try to leave it a little bit better than how you found it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You guys have an interesting story in that, some people find that perfect match between author and illustrator, and I find this interesting. Can you tell our audience a little bit about how this amazing partnership, the dynamic duo, the Fin-tastic duo, came to be?
Got names now.
Oh, right.
Jenna and I have known each other Jenna's whole life.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yes. We are longtime family friends. So
Okay, yeah.
I've watched Jenna just grow into this amazing artist. And
Truly.
yes,
Thank you.
Since she's been very young, and she's always wanted to become an artist, and I needed something to do in my next journey, in my next chapter of my life. And so I wrote this story. I was like, hey, you want to read this manuscript? You want to draw some pictures for this book?
Yes.
And here we are.
Yeah.
3 books later.
I was going to say, how much is it you both weigh in on it, or I pretty much have the image now that I know, and I've worked with Laura so often, I know exactly what image she's looking for. Sometimes I surprise her.
Sometimes she'll have notes on her manuscript for what she wants, so I'll come up with a bunch of different thumbnails and stuff and show it to her, and we'll pick out what works best for the story.
Yeah.
Then there's sometimes when I'm not quite sure what she wants, with the kite surfing in the second one, I had a very different image in my head, so I was like, Laura, what? I'm like, what about this? And she's like, wait. And then so she sent me her own stick figure, but it works.
Nice.
And an ocean wave.
Yeah. So, but then I knew what she wanted more. Then I could flesh it out and get to that place that we're both happy with.
So your most latest book about the Arctic, can you
Yes.
tell us a little bit about why every single time you wanted to do a story that was a little different? obviously this Arctic one, so this new one that Steve we're holding up here, the award winner. We'll be getting that in there. Tell us a little bit about why this one was important to you to do, just in the hierarchy of, you know, the different stories. How do they merge from one to the next? Is there a continuity, or nope, it's just a different region, a different topic?
Well, yeah, I guess, you know, it's kind of also the idea, you know,
Yes.
brain spark,
Yes,
you know,
yes.
it came to mind. But, you know, yeah, each book takes on some different issues, sometimes repeat an issue, you know, because you know, it's there. But this one, I don't know, you know, it just came to me. Honestly, my child was doing homework about polar bears and polar bears losing their
Exactly,
polar
the global
ice.
warming, exactly.
And so I was like, oh, how fun, the mermaids could go visit their friends and go and save polar bears and puffins, and what about oil spills? And so we try to, you know, put a spin on it and make it a little bit of a happy ending.
Yes.
But at the end of all of our books, which I always like to tell everybody, is that there's like a little nonfiction portion in the back of our books, and we put facts about the animals that are in the books and facts about the region, or the Northern Lights, you know, things like that. Like the first book, we have a lot of facts about what we found in the ocean, what you're cleaning up, and organizations that you can join nationally and locally.
So I just have to ask you, now that this has taken off and become such are you looking to take this on the road? Meaning not just Long Island. The beaches are everywhere. So when you travel, is this something like, hey, we're going to Florida, where we're going to stop by and see different gift stores and stuff down there? Is it something that you would think about doing?
Oh, absolutely. If I get to travel.
Yes. So anybody in the NightLight in the Florida region, give us a ring. Exactly.
I actually have a friend that I just talked to. She just moved to California, and she reached out to her local library and got the book ordered there, and a local surf shop. So,
Nice.
so she said, "Welcome to the West Coast." I said, "Thank you."
There you go. Perfect. That's what we need. Jen, I have a question for you. Most people that are artists, you can pretty much do everything. Is it very hard to do illustration for books?
You know, I think everything has its own challenge, and like whatever artist,
Certain sizes, you have to
Exactly.
follow, you know.
as long as you follow the guidelines that whatever the publisher sends, I just try to like stay on track with that as much as I can. I always like set up guidelines for my stuff whenever I'm drawing, and I've gotten better about like planning out the pages and everything.
Right.
I do think like every art form has its challenges and its you know, things that, you know, everyone's suited for something else. So I definitely love illustration, that where each challenge, because I've always been drawn to like narrative art. So like finding that bridge between visual and words and just helping enhance the story has been really like a fun challenge that I love to do.
Only because I think Laura and I appreciate that, especially in a children's book, a picture says 1,000 words.
Yeah.
So it really does, the kids stare at the pictures and they can get their comprehension based on what you've drawn. So that's,
Yes. I would say absolutely, because the one thing we always tell the kids when they're looking at, I say, open it up, look, go through the pages, do a picture walk, see if the story, you know, see if you can see what the story's about.
right.
You know?
Do you feel sometimes that there are, like, what was probably the sweetest moment, or a few sweet moments, where you see that the impact of what you've written, the kids get, like, oh no, and now she's got all this garbage. Like they really resonate with that. They have a lot of like, they feel it as if, you know, it's really there. I'm sure that has to be a very rewarding.
It is. I mean,
Yeah.
for me, I always tell, my favorite part is watching the kids' faces when they go do that picture walk and they see Jenna's illustrations just pop off the page. They're just like, you know, and then you know,
And
hopefully,
the joy is there.
Hopefully.
Is there a next Fin-tastic book in the works?
There is a fantastic
Little teaser
book.
here,
Yes,
family. Little teaser.
There is the Fin-tastic Treasure is in the works.
Nice.
All
All right, don't give it too away.
You don't
We
want to give
wanna-
it too much away.
No spoilers.
You got a title.
Just a little. You do. Okay.
You got a
That's
title.
good.
That's the
We'll
title.
stay with that. We'll stay with that. You know, I love to ask great questions, so I'll start with Jenna. If you could have dinner with any kind of artist or illustrator, and completely living or dead, somebody you met, who would that be? And what would you talk about?
It's a very tough question, but I think I'd have to say Mary Blair. She worked a lot with Disney, and she was like one of the top like female artists like in a lot of the creation of like Disney movies and the parks and stuff. And she wasn't afraid of like trying new things and experimenting with a lot of different shapes, colors, textures, all that. So I'd be very curious to pick her brain about what it was like being like one of the in the minority of like women in like a very male dominated like time, as well as an artist and excelling, and like people to this day still reference her and like go back to her stuff.
Right?
Yeah. And it's like we don't have that much of a similar style, but at the same time, like the way that she used shapes and everything, it's like I would like to pick her brain more about like experimenting and trying different things like that.
That's
It would be awesome.
We're going to see Fin-Tastics in Pixar. No doubt about it, right? Come on.
From your lips to God's ears.
I know. Wouldn't that be awesome?
That's the dream. That's the dream right
Laura,
there.
now I get to ask you, dinner with any author,
Oh.
and what would you talk about?
Any author. Well, I'm going to pick a children's author since that's my genre. I'll pick Robert Munch because I love that he writes endearing stories, but he really writes these hysterical stories. And what I like about his writing style is that he won't write the book. He won't put it on paper until he's told the story so many times. And they're all very hilarious and a lot of fun. And my kids really enjoy reading them, and I just laugh out loud with them. So I think it would be really fun to just hear him tell these stories in person.
Right. One more question. Favorite book you had as a child?
That's tough.
You can give more than one. I'm going to give mine. My
I got
favorite
one.
when I was growing, there's two books actually. There's a book from 1964, so I'm really dating myself. It's called What Mary Jo Shared. About a little girl, what she had to share in school. But my really favorite book is a book called The Giving Tree.
Oh, that's a great one.
Right. It's just you can give it as gifts. It resonates with everybody.
I love When the Sidewalk Ends,
Yeah,
which another
exactly.
shelf
Yeah, that
over
was
here.
another one. Really good one.
That was one I
Yes.
really liked that one growing up, and like the
Yes.
Eric Carle books
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so
I used-
many. You know.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. I loved that book too for some reason. You
Yeah.
know, like it
Just
just,
really,
yeah.
you really
just
feel
nostalgic.
like sometimes, right? Funny books like that gets kids reading. Get kids thinking about stuff.
Yeah.
So, guys, I have to just say thank you so much. I mean, on
Thank
behalf
you.
of me, I don't know if you guys can see this because we're videotaping this, but the back of my phone cover is my humpback whales. So let's just give a shout out. Anybody who's listening, if you haven't been on a whale watch, go.
Oh, absolutely.
You're going to want a bigger boat, but they're the gentle giants and the winged ones.
Just go to the beach.
Just go to the beach.
Just go to the
They're
beach.
there.
We
They're
saw them all
it's-
summer long.
I know. It's awesome. It's awesome. So, Jenna, Laura, thank you so much on behalf of all of us here and the Nightlight. Thank you so much for being here. To all of our Nightlighters, thank you so much for turning your Nightlight on with us.
Thank you for
so
having
much.
us.
Yay!
I'll go away and take a quick picture of 8.
Whoa, so
Okay,
fast.
Mark, take a quick song real quick. Sorry for the rush.
Oh, no, that's okay.
Okay, so Mark, you're gonna
Take a pictures outside. We got all
we're
your
gonna come
books
back in
and
at 8 real quick.
yes. Okay. Okay. Ryan, thank you so much. That was really weird. Sorry. Okay, so it's still recording.